The kids are huffing galaxy gas. That's it. There's no skit. Cut the green screen. We need to talk about it. Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about something that I've recently found on the internet and wanted to talk about because I think it is quite important. One, because I think that the fact that we've gotten here in the way that we've gotten here is wild. And two, because I think that it plays into a greater conversation about substances in younger communities. Today we are talking about galaxy gas. Now you may be asking yourself, Rumi, what is galaxy gas? That sounds very goofy. That sounds like a cartoony substance that networks would use to get around censorship for kids shows. Well, no. But sort of, kind of, but no. Galaxy gas, or more scientifically known as nitrous oxide, more commonly known in things like laughing gas, and as the streets have formerly called them, whippets, are back in full swing and have become a trend and a meme online. And specifically this time around, young black people, where there are multiple videos online of high schoolers doing galaxy gas in school to get their fix. And this has been rightfully concerning to many because the use of nitrous oxide galaxy gas / whippets can have some very serious and negative side effects that are scary at best and life-threatening at worst. And much of this comes at a time where there is a lot of discourse online over the use and safety of other substances that young people tend to gravitate towards, like vapes, which leaves some to wonder, are vapes out and are whippets in? In this video, we're breaking down what exactly is galaxy gas, why is it suddenly popular and everywhere, and breaking into how the marketing of these products can be seen as really predatory and seemingly geared towards younger people, and much, much more. So if that sounds of interest to you, then definitely subscribe, leave a like, follow me on my social medias at Imurgency, and stay tuned. And before we really break into everything, something that is said all the time when it comes to young people doing things that they shouldn't be doing is, oh, these young people are trying to act grown, and they're acting too grown, which in some cases I feel like I agree with, and other times I think it's kind of a detractor from the actual issue and problem at hand. And again, before we dig into all that, for my people that are actually grown, I have a quick question for you. Why does it feel like we get no benefits for paying rent outside of like getting to stay where we stay? Like, it seems like for everything else you pay off, you get points and like rewards and like an incentive. But like, it feels like rent has always been different. Well, I mean, until now with this video sponsor, Built. Built helps you earn points on one of your largest expenses, rent. Built is a loyalty program that earns you points on your rent and around your neighborhood. And there's so much that you can do with Built points. I've been a long-term renter myself and constantly think about how I've historically gotten nothing back for all the money that I paid for my rent. But now by paying my rent through Built, I'm able to get a little bit more bang for my buck. They've consistently been ranked the highest value point currency by the Point Guys and Bankrate, and they're designed to fit your everyday lifestyle. You can redeem them for flights, hotels, workout classes, towards your next month's rent payment, and so much more. You also get exclusive benefits with Built partners, such as transfer bonuses with airlines, status matches with hotels, and complimentary add-ons like free spin shoes and water at some of your favorite fitness studios. And if any of that sounds of interest to you and you want to learn more, you can start earning points right now by using the link in my description or the QR code on screen, and make sure to use my URL so they know I sent you. Thanks so much, Built, for sponsoring this section of the video. Let's get back into it. Okay, a little sponsorship aside, let's talk about the actual trend of galaxy gas and where this came from, what's going on. Essentially, why are we here? I want to say the younger part of Gen Z and the older part of Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha might be a stretch. I think it mostly is like the younger portion of Gen Z, have started using this product called galaxy gas to get a feeling of euphoria and a quick buzz or a high. Now, what's actually being inhaled is not called galaxy gas. Galaxy gas is the name of the Atlanta-based brand, which is actually, funnily enough, a brand of whipped cream dispensers. And what people are using to inhale the galaxy gas are the brand's nitrous oxide tanks and whipped cream chargers, which sounds insane because it kind of is. You have videos of teenagers and young adults inhaling nitrous oxide and having their voices drop a couple octaves, in some cases like passing out or having this sense of euphoria after hitting it, and knowing that the product itself was intended to be used for culinary reasons and baking just makes it seem so wild. According to Galaxy Gas's website, they claim that their products are strictly intended for culinary purposes and they do not condone any other uses. It's designed for infusing cocktails, making delightful whipped cream, enhancing mashed potatoes, and various other culinary applications. Basically saying this stuff is meant for cooking and cooking alone. Anything else that y'all are doing out of this trend is none of our business, which would be fine and dandy because usually when things like this pop up where people are abusing products for like their unintended purpose, like remember like the Tide Pod gate when people were eating Tide Pods, like I'm sure Tide put out a statement being like Tide Pods are only meant to be used and like wash and not consumed. Any other usage we don't know nothing about. That would be understandable if it were not for the way that Galaxy Gas is sold on the website. So if we were to take a little venture over to Galaxy Gas's website, you would see that the gas that they're selling, these nitrous oxide bottles, come in many different flavors, more flavors than you'd really typically need for your average whipped cream, and look like they probably could be sold in your local smoke shop. Like, they do not look like your typical culinary whipped cream charger or whatever that may look like. These look mighty recreational, and the flavors that they carry their canisters in, flavors that are very much in line with what kids or young people would like. When I was researching for this video, Galaxy Gas actually had all of the flavors up on their website, but now that I'm filming this, I'm not seeing it on their website, but luckily the internet lives forever, so there are pictures. They have flavors like blue raspberry, blueberry mango, mango smoothie, strawberry cream, tropical punch, vanilla cupcake, watermelon lemonade, and their original flavor. And while yes, fine and dandy, I'm not like a culinary expert, I'm not a chef, that very well may be just like different flavors you'd want your whipped cream, but look at the packaging. These are flavors that seem really appealing. The images on the packaging look very appealing and very much something that a young person would want to gravitate to buy. And the flavors of this are very similar to the flavors that would typically be in vapes. In fact, if you remember, or if you don't and aren't tapped into things of that nature, there was regulation on specifically this issue for vapes or e-cigarettes, essentially regulating, or as some may say, banning certain flavors from vapes that would be appealing to children and young people. And the fact that this is sort of being brought up again now with a different substance is very telling and is very interesting.
One thing's for certain, two things for sure. Y'all are not going to sit up here and make me feel stupid and make me feel like I'm crazy for thinking that a company that has this many flavors, and even more than this many flavors of nitrous oxide genuinely believes that people are using it to make whipped cream. That's like me sitting up here and making Similac flavored cigarettes and saying, oh, it's not for babies. Or me sitting up here and making my vape design the shape of the Coco Melon baby head and be like, oh, it's no for toddlers. Nobody's gonna tell me that this company genuinely believes that the only people that are consuming this gas is people who are using it to make whipped cream. Look at the flavors. Mango smoothie. Who is making their whipped cream mango smoothie flavored? Quickly. But we wrote on the container that you should not consume this. When have human beings ever listened to instructions?
And I'm not going to say I know for certain that this is a major issue in that Galaxy Gas and other forms of nitrous oxide are widely across the streets, and we need to protect the children ASAP. This is a pressing issue that's affecting everybody. I don't know that for certain. I don't know what the full scale of this issue is, but I do know enough to know that the fact that this is going viral and trending on social media is enough of a sign that like something needs to be done about this. And if you were thinking about getting in on this trend and trying it out, please don't. This is one you can sit out. Because for one, if the negative effects of recklessly inhaling nitrous oxide, which we're going to get into what some of those are later, isn't enough of a deterrent, let's just simply get into how goofy you look inhaling that big ass canister. Like, let's just be real. This is obscene. This is obscenely large. Like, it's not a cutesy little canister that you can pull out of your pocket and just hit subtly. No, this is an industrial size object. Again, this is initially meant for culinary reasons. It's not meant to be practical. So walking around with this carbonated tank of nitrous oxide looks a little wild. It looks crazy. I'm sorry. But let's talk a little bit about some of these dangers of nitrous oxide and of Galaxy Gas. Again, nitrous oxide is something that many of us are familiar with in a professional setting because the way that many of us have encountered it is through laughing gas that you may get at the doctor or the dentist when you're getting like dental surgery. And in that setting where it's controlled, it's fine. But in the cases that it's being used now recreationally, it is not safe and can cause some very serious side effects. The abuse and overuse of nitrous oxide can cause things like heart attacks, loss of coordination, headaches, nausea, vomiting or seizures, brain damage, anemia, nerve damage, paralysis, vitamin B12 deficiency, and nitrous oxide dependency. You heard that right. This substance is addictive. I don't know if you all tapped into the alleged news that came out about how Kanye West is allegedly addicted to laughing gas and how allegedly his dentist got him hooked on it. If you want to know more about that, I talk about that more on my podcast, the Shameless Promo Podcast. I'll leave that linked in the description as well if you want to go check that out. But dependency is real and it can be really dangerous, especially when we're talking about young people whose brains are still developing, bodies are still developing, but especially someone that's still in high school needs is nitrous oxide dependency. And one thing that I just find so interesting interesting, not in like a ooh interesting, but in like a oh interesting kind of way, is the way that we're seeing nitrous oxide circulate around Gen Z, particularly around young Black men, because nitrous oxide has always been a popular substance historically, especially in past generations, but the demographic of people that used to use this drug used to look very different, if you catch my drift. Because for those of you that don't know, before we had galaxy gas, before we had laughing gas, there was a little something on the streets called whippets. Now let's have a little history lesson about this, shall we? Like I said, nitrous oxide is nothing new, has always been around. In fact, the recreational use of nitrous oxide goes all the way back to the early 1800s, where actually the British upper class would throw these things called laughing gas parties. And in my mind, I'm just thinking about a bunch of old white British people getting together and getting giddy off of laughing gas, and that's kind of upsetting me. Like I'm just picturing a little oh, Archibald III, I'm having quite the soiree this evening. Oh, Countess Gertie, it's splendid, isn't it? Good heavens, Archibald, I'm feeling quite nice. Shall I take another puff? Oh, that's about right. My sincerest apologies. Fast forwarding into the 21st century, nitrous oxide, having been rebranded recreationally into whippets or hippie, have become very popular, historically been used and abused as a party substance, being fairly popular at raves, music festivals, and things of that nature. And again, when we talk about those scenes, the rave and music festival scenes, usually, those are not typically seen as predominantly Black spaces. So seeing the shift of this trend where whippets are being reintroduced mainstreamly to Gen Z and having the main population, at least the main population that's going viral on social media, being specifically Black young people is interesting. And something definitely worth noting. According to a 2022 survey from the US Government Center of Behavioral Health Statistics and Quality, 13.9 million Americans over the age of 12, or 4.9% of the US population, have misused nitrous oxide. That's an increase of over 1 million people from 2021. Now that study is about to be over 2 years old at this point, and seeing the increase in use of nitrous is alarming, because I can't stress enough that this is a potentially very dangerous substance for people to be using and just trying out for the sake of a trend, because of the very serious health complications that can happen as a result of this. Now, many high-profile public figures and celebrities have come out to speak about this trend, and one of those people actually, surprisingly, is SZA. SZA took to Twitter to talk about the rise in popularity of galaxy gas, saying, "Sorry to be old and annoying, but is no one going to talk about how galaxy gas came out of nowhere and is being mass marketed to Black children and the government is doing nothing? Since when are we selling whippets at the store? Somebody protect the children." Going further to talk about the childlike designs and marketing being spooky. And I think that SZA is right in the sense that, like, while this is a more recent trend and it does take time for more regulations to be passed for these sort of things, as trends happen and die very quickly, it is really shocking how fast this trend took off and how and why galaxy gas was chosen to be the brand that was going to be used and abused. Whether it's the accessibility of getting galaxy gas or the variety of different flavors that galaxy gas offers, it's unclear the specifics as to why this is the company that everyone descended upon, especially considering that the company was founded in 2021. The rapper Lil Nar also made a video denouncing galaxy gas by jokingly showing what's the best way to use galaxy gas.
I'm gonna show y'all young nigga the only way to do that galaxy gas shit without brain. First you gotta check the drip. You know what I'm saying? Get the tip, get that bitch beating like this here.
And I think that at least on a celebrity level, it's nice to see people denouncing these substances, because I know typically, and this is a whole other conversation and a whole other topic, when it comes to substance use and promotion, for at least like the past 10 years, substance use and abuse has been very glorified. In the modern rap community, we've seen the results of that, with us essentially losing almost a whole generation of rappers to substance abuse. So seeing someone like Lil Nar being so staunchly against it is definitely a step in the right direction for that. Now, I don't want to make it seem like no one's doing anything in response to the rise in nitrous oxide usage. A lot of social media platforms are actually banning or suppressing the use or even really mention of these substances. Like I think I said earlier in the video, when you look up galaxy gas or whippets or anything of that nature on TikTok, it'll take you to like a help page and essentially like block out any content that would be shown for that, which I do think is a band-aid on a bullet wound, but anything is better than nothing. I just think that overall it is really predatory for brands of substances, whether or not they're used for culinary purposes or not, or extenuating purposes or not, to have packaging and labeling that would be appealing to children and for young people to use. Like, yeah, I understand the purpose of marketing and good packaging, but when it comes to something like nitrous oxide, something that has been known to be abused for literally centuries, that's not a product that you want to make cutesy or something that you want to make appealing or tasty to a younger audience, because that will be used and that will be abused. I just think we need to be very careful with how easy it is to access these products. Like, your average 16-year-old should not be able to hop online and order a bottle of nitrous oxide. Like, that just should not be the case. I think there should definitely be some more regulations in place, and maybe something similar to what they did for like inappropriately marketed and advertised flavored vapes for things like nitrous oxide, because if nothing is done, this could be very harmful to a lot of very vulnerable and impressionable people. But yeah, that's the current situation. My thoughts for right now. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Have you seen this trend, or have you seen this happen in real life? Are you an avid Galaxy Gas user? And if so, stop. I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on my social medias at Imurgency on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Make sure to check out the Shameless Promo podcast, and don't forget to click the link in my description to check out Built and get started with your rewards. But other than that, y'all, thanks so much again for watching. I've been Imurgency, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.